Welcome to this video on dowels. I use dowels in just about everything I build, and I find that they're easy to use, affordable, and they create strong joints. For years I've made my own custom dowel jigs, like this, using some hardwood and some guide bushings. This. The key thing to a homemade dowel jig is making sure that your holes are drilled at 90 degrees to your reference faces. This is a lot easier if you have a drill press. My drill press is old, and unfortunately it has a lot of play in its joints. And that can lead to some less than desirable dowel jigs. So after years of using homemade dowel jigs, I finally decided to invest in a precision dowel jig and spent way more time than I'd like to admit researching them, and ended up on the JessEm. Now I started out just with the 3/8 inch JessEm. You can get all of their dowel jigs in what they call a master kit, but I just wanted to try the 3/8 inch one. I used it for about a month, and then I was so happy with it that I went ahead and got the 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch kits also. What a difference this thing makes. Being able to rely on the precision and alignment on either edge, and knowing that the offsets to all of the dowels will be exact, no matter how the drill guide is oriented, is awesome. It's a big time saver. Additionally, you can use the pin for alignment as a positive stop. The pin also serves to allow you to extend a series of dowel holes. So you would drill a series of them. If you had 4 and you wanted to extend it, you would just move it along, push the pin into one of the holes, and then you know that you're still in alignment with that first series that you drilled. To switch between the 3/8 guide to one of the other guides is simple. This comes off with a hex key, and this you would just swap out the drill guides. They each come with their own drill, stop collar, and then the reference pin. When adjusting the stop collar for how deep you drill, you want to make sure that you do that once it's in the guide, because that's obviously how deep you're going to drill into the wood. The other thing is you want to allow at least 1/8 of an inch for glue. I do use clamps for larger dowels, or if I'm drilling into an area where there's a knot or there's something going on with the wood, just so that the drill bit doesn't actually try and move the jig around. For smaller dowels, I can just hold it in place and drill the holes without any problem. I typically use dowels that are half the thickness of the material I'm joining. So if I'm joining 1 inch or larger material, I'm using 1/2 inch dowels. And 3/4 inch material, I'm using 3/8 inch dowels, and then for 1/2 inch material, I'm using 1/4 inch dowels. And I like these spiral dowels more than the fluted dowels. I don't know if it's true or not, but I feel like there's more surface space with the spiral ones than there is with the fluted ones. And I do like the Woodpecker dowels. I'm able to find those on Amazon and order them. I've ordered a ton of these over the years. So if you're just getting into dowels, whether you're using your own dowel jigs or you bought one of the things that's definitely handy to have is a flush cut saw, and these will allow you to trim off any of the extruding dowel in cases where you've done a through dowel and it goes through the surface. So if it was like joining like this and the dowel was extruding out this way, the flush cut saws are nice because they allow you to cut off the top of the dowel without marring the wood surface. Now what if you screw up and you put the dowel in the wrong place? Well, the great thing about dowels is if you do that, you can just put some wood glue on a dowel, shove it in the hole that shouldn't be there, let it dry, and then use a flush cut saw to trim it back. And at that point then, it never happened. If the new hole that you're going to drill is going to overlap with the hole that you just filled in with the dowel, you're definitely going to want to clamp the guide in place when you're drilling the new hole, because it's going to have a tendency to want to remember the old hole, and clamping it in place will ensure that that doesn't happen. JessEm has come out with a new dowel jig. It's similar to this one. I think all the spacing on the guides are the same, but it's made out of stainless steel. It's a little bit of a smaller form factor, and it allows you to move the template forward in 1/16 of an inch as opposed to the 1/8 of an inch that you get with this one. The one thing that the stainless steel one does come with that I think is cool is it comes with a mounting bracket where you can store the stainless steel one away when you're not using it. And this one ships in a cardboard box, which has seen better days. What I'd like to do is have a better storage solution for all of the guides, and then just leave the dowels in this plastic tote. So I'm going to use this DEWALT TSTAK toolbox. This guy, and the foam inserts that are made for this thing. And they come, it looks like 3 of them are already perforated, so that I should be able to just pull out the sections and allow me to fit in the dowel jig. I don't know if this one goes on the bottom or the top. Let's assume bottom. Yeah. So now it's just a Tetris game to figure out the best way to fit this and all of his friends in here. So a couple of things about this. I do like how you can add back cubes back into the stuff that you've removed to create different shapes like I did here. That was nice. I could always just hot glue this in place and then it won't move. I feel like I need one more piece of foam in the top so that when I close it, it'll keep all of the pieces secure even if this gets flipped upside down. I don't have another sheet. This is all I got. If I lift this up, take the piece that I put on the bottom and then put that on the top, maybe that'll hold everything in place. So let's give that a try. I kept everything in place. So I'll just take this spare piece and I'll put it on the top, and I'll keep it on the top so that now if this gets flipped upside down, it doesn't really matter. Well, I'm pretty happy with that. I think it turned out pretty well. It definitely does a better job protecting my JessEm Dowel Jig than sitting in cardboard boxes in a plastic tote. And speaking of plastic totes, I hope you'll stay tuned for my plastic tote dust collection upgrade that I'm going to do for my miter saw. It's going to be epic. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you found something useful, and I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe for more DIY woodworking stuff. And if you're interested in my shop cart plans, I do have them up on Etsy right now. It's step-by-step plan, so if you're new to woodworking, these are pretty beginner-friendly plans. They walk you through everything you need, including all the parts that I used in building my cart. Pretty detailed diagrams, in addition to exactly what you need to do as you go through and build the cart. It's a fun project. It's life-changing. I'm not going to lie to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.